Hey everyone, it's Asif from thinkasif.ca, and today we have Laura Tarcea from Family Mediation Group. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Today we're going to talk about mediation. Most people don't really know what mediation is. I don't fully understand what mediation is. So we're going to ask Laura, and she's going to give us the goods. So, Laura, what is mediation?
Asif, thank you so much for inviting me, first of all. My favorite topic.
Yes.
Mediation is a voluntary process.
Okay.
It's generally used in families when they go through divorce or separation. But anybody can use mediation. It's a conflict resolution process.
Okay.
So if you have a dispute with your partner or with your husband, your wife, mediation is a process that can be used to keep you out of court, to keep those folks out of court, those families out of court, right? It is much more, it's voluntary. So that's a great advantage, right? Because you can really walk in it with no pressures. It is a lot less time that you spend at a table with, trying to resolve your matters.
Okay.
And a lot less expensive.
Oh, okay.
A lot less expensive than going to court. In fact, our Canadian statistics are showing that an individual, so per person, if you go to court in a family matter, if you're divorcing and separating and you choose to go to court or litigation, it is about 25 to 45,000 per person. Those are our stats.
$25,000
per person
to 45 per person.
Per person.
That's if you go to court.
That if you go to court. So if you decide to hire a lawyer to represent you and fight and argue, not only that it's going to be that amount of money, it's also going to be the average time that you would spend in court is about 22 months.
It's not worth it to get divorced. Stay together. Yeah.
Or resolve. Either that, absolutely. I mean, working at the relationship is a really important element. But you can also divorce or separate amicably. Okay. So you can find a mediator. You can find someone who offers mediation. And it's not that, lots of people are thinking mediation is touchy-feeling, kumbaya type of thing. It's not. It really is, it's a pretty rigorous process, but it allows for a lot more effective and a lot speedier sort of resolution, to come to a resolution, and it's confidential. So one of the elements that I found very important in mediation for families, for example, mom, dad, mom, when they go to court or when they go to a lawyer, or it just becomes public record, right? So
I didn't know that. There's
no more confidentiality. Confidentiality is lost. So if there are any disputes that, someone may be embarrassed or ashamed of, or, don't want that to be in the public forum, rightfully so, right? Because it's private, it's personal. In mediation, we have the ability to keep it personal and still resolve your issue, as opposed to if you go to court, that is done. Anybody can walk into court and watch your case unfold.
Wow.
So
I had no idea. I thought going to court was a confidential matter as well, but I didn't realize it was open to the public.
It's open to the public.
That's
anybody
scary.
Can walk in. So if it gets to a trial, then that becomes public record online. So anybody can read it online, every single aspect of your life, of your marriage, of your relationship. Okay. It becomes a blog.
Wow. How long has mediation been around for?
In Ontario, mediation has been around for about 30 years or so. It's becoming more and more popular as people understand the huge benefits of it. So you get to resolve everything within there are families who are resolving it within two weeks, let's say, under $5,000.
Okay.
And when I'm saying 5,000, I know sometimes it may sound like a lot of money for a family. However, when we put it in a context, comparing to 25,000 or 35,000, if you're choosing to go to court, this 5,000 is really split between the parents. So you are really talking about 2,500. That's the average. Gotcha. I mean, the average of mediation if they resolve all their family matters, and it resolves everything. You resolve the parenting, you resolve the financial, the asset division, the property division, anything that has to do with, with people's RSPs, RESPs for their children. All of those elements are all in one at the table, and they have the ability to negotiate and resolve those without having to resort to an adversarial process like court.
So going through a mediator, definitely lower costs, much faster, and confidential. That's huge, like, right there. And then why wouldn't people choose that versus going to a lawyer? Is it just lack of knowledge?
I think you nailed it. I think it is absolutely lack of awareness, lack of knowledge. People don't fully understand, and it's it almost feels that it's our fault as a professional field that we're not increasing awareness about the benefits, or we're not doing a really good job if people don't know, really, to be honest. So it is lack of awareness, and it's lack of, sometimes we have it's the society. I mean, we are conditioned to think that if we're divorcing or separating, we need to call a lawyer. While a lawyer is good to have for independent legal advice, look at your agreement at the very end to, give you a stamp of approval in terms of the legal aspects of it.
Okay.
The rest of it, the negotiation and the ability to have control over your decision making, should be in the hands of the parties who have that issue, right? I mean, the rest of it is not a legal issue. But we have been conditioned, unfortunately, to believe that we have to call our lawyer. And that is another...
Is there ever a circumstance where you really would need to call a lawyer other than the sign-off? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If there is domestic violence, for example,
okay.
if there is a pattern of abuse, if there is, and abuse can be in many, many ways, abuse of power, abuse of, like it can be financial abuse, it can be emotional, verbal, right? So if there is a pattern where people cannot sit, they know clearly they were not going to be able to sit at the table and try and have an amicable conversation, then that, yes, you would probably first call a lawyer. However, there have been instances where even when you call a lawyer, then the lawyer will come and support you through the mediation. So we have lots of mediations that are lawyer-assisted mediations. So that person who, if there is a power imbalance, then that person can bring in a lawyer, which will be an advocate, representing those rights and entitlements.
Okay.
And could support that person still through the mediation.
Okay.
Just because it's been shown over and over again that it de-escalates the conflict. So if we're really talking about conflict and violence and all that stuff, litigation, it only escalates, whereas mediation, it de-escalates and it promotes some form of a healing process.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. That's a lot of great information. A lot of the stuff in all honesty, I didn't know. The only thing I really knew about mediation is that it's a cheaper alternative. But I mean, I didn't know why else you would go. So this is phenomenal information. So your company or the operation you work with is the Family Mediation Group. Tell us a little bit about it.
Family Mediation Group. I work with a senior lawyer. So we decided that sometimes because there is a need for that legal mindset and knowledge, Marty Klein is a senior lawyer, deputy judge, and a family mediator. So we decided to join forces to provide for a much more efficient mediation. Okay. And it's a co-mediation, right? So because we work together, we can balance all tables. So my background would be mental health. His background is legal. So really when we have parties in the room with us, we can cover all bases and we can pull from each other's sort of strengths and skills and backgrounds.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And where are these operations, or is it one operation, multiple operations?
We're all over now.
Okay.
Which is great.
That's good.
So we're in Oshawa. We have an office in Oshawa. We have one in Toronto, and we have one in Mississauga.
Oh, okay.
And oftentimes nowadays, really, if someone feels very attached to a particular location will make it happen, right?
Okay.
I mean, we have how many offices are, virtual offices where
Gotcha.
they have their own offices where they feel more comfortable, the
Mhm.
parties. So we would be going there.
Okay.
So
So being in mediation, being a mediator, what are some of the other business partners that you work with to help facilitate this full-blown mediation thing?
hmm it's a really good question. I think even most people don't realize that we do work with oftentimes we work with, depending on the family's needs, right?
Mhm.
They may need a financial planner.
Mhm.
They may need a coach. They
Mhm.
may need a divorce financial analysts, they're
Mhm.
called. They may need a lawyer that we can work with sometimes, psychotherapists
Okay.
or mental health supports to help them through whatever individually or together they may need as a couple or as a unit going through.
Do you recommend them, or do you actually recommend out to that client, go speak to this person, or they have to find it themselves?
We would recommend them.
Okay.
Just because it's nice to have a list of referrals that we can trust.
Mm-hmm.
They are capable. They're accredited if that needs to be an accreditation process. So we have a referral sort of database that we send people to, or we will pull people in. Mm-hmm. So let's say a mediation, there's a financial complex issue. Mm-hmm. We would pull someone in, or someone doesn't know how to really deal with the property division or assets, or how to roll RSPs or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then we would bring someone else in with us. Yes, okay. Yeah. So we would have a session with them and this other person who has a particular expertise in that field.
Excellent, good to know. You have a radio show.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that. We
have a radio show. So a radio show is Straight Talk, Family Law.
Okay.
Radio. It is a radio to do just what you were suggesting or you were asking earlier. Why do people don't know about mediation, right? So it really is a radio first to promote to the understanding of mediation, raise awareness. And also we have noticed that it is very, very... it's very difficult to make sense of the overwhelm of information that you find online. Mm-hmm. So we have created this radio to be able to present this information in a very frank, straight talks, about family law.
Good.
What really is a myth, what really is media-driven, Judge Judy type of, information and advice, and what really happens in the family system and what you can do. And, we're trying to share that information with the community, what they can do in certain situations.
If you can, so that we can put it up on the at the end of the video, if we can get that information for that Straight Talk as well, so I could post that so people can listen in if they want to, that would be great.
Yes.
But for now, that's kind of all we have time for, because I'm sure we could talk for hours about this stuff.
Many hours.
Yes. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We've shed a lot of light on this topic that is very relevant right now, because our divorce rates are, over 50%. No?
Yes. Yeah.
So, this is really useful, helpful information that's going to help people out there. So, thank you.
Hope so. Thank you.
And we'll see you guys soon. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Laura's information is going to be at the end of the video as well. So, take care.